Do you guys have an instrument laying around that you haven't used in a while and it's not really motivating you to play? Well, that's exactly what happened to me. Here I have a Taylor acoustic guitar, and you'd be like, what are you gonna talk about in this video? Well, I'm talking about a very personal story. So I always wanted to have a Taylor, Martin, or a little bit better, the big boy acoustic guitars, out there. And 3 years ago, I decided that I'm gonna invest in a guitar, and whenever I get a guitar, it's like trying 40, 50, 60 guitars, going from one to another, things like that. And what I'm looking for is it needs to fit my kind of style. Like, duh, of course it does. It has to have a good fast neck, clarity here. It has to have a good way to reach these areas up here, 10 fret above. I want to be able to do what is it called, two-handed tapping, harmonics, so like versatile, good sounding acoustically and recorded. You must go like, golly, that's a lot of requirements you have. I think it's really important that you know what use case you want your acoustic guitar to be, because not every guitar is made for the same exact purpose. Everything would be for something different. So like, I need a cutaway. So I can't get along with no cutaways. I need to be able to reach these regions, scales, arpeggios, chords, things like that. I need it. I can't, like, almost like it's gotta be an electric guitar in an acoustic guitar body. Interesting. So the story continues. I went to a store that I'm not gonna name, and I was handpicked this guitar. Go ahead, try that instrument. I think you'll like it. I played it for a while, and honestly I did like it. Like, I liked it, and I decided to take a chance and go and get it. Now what happened was, within 6 months I started to notice a lot of like buzzing and things like that, and you're like, of course, it's a wooden instrument. It always needs, it will need care here and there, but when I go into this, I like to get a good quality instrument and kind of understand what type of care it will need. Like, I really try not to, if I'm spending so much money on an instrument, and you might be like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't want to take it to the shop 2 times a year and spend like $200-300 yearly on like setups, repairs, and things like that. I mean, it's like having a down payment. Like, if I pay a freaking $300 a year, that could be, monthly installments on an even more expensive guitar. But is expensive equal to better? And money can be a very tricky thing where it's a lot of perceived value, and marketing can also affect your brain on what you think is good. So, holy cow. So I liked it, I got it, and I had problems with it, and then it suddenly became an art piece. It was on the wall for like a year. I looked at it and I said, it don't play right, it's buzzing, I'm not gonna play. And I love acoustic guitars. Don't get me wrong, I love it. I'm a big experimenter. I love learning techniques. Technique is big thing for me. Chords, being fast, whatever. So every time I looked at it, I had this bad feeling. I had this, frustration. And then one day I took it to a professional who said who would do it, and he'd do me a favor, scratch your back, I scratch your back, whatever backs we're scratching, and then a year later-ish, I get it back, and supposedly there was a lot of stuff going on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, if I had to pay $500 or $600-ish bucks just for repair, then that instrument is really not that worth it, because I paid $1,000 on it about, and then if I think about repair costs, then I'm looking at like close to $1,500. Then why did I buy this instrument? Like, if I spend a lot of money, I don't want to spend money on repairs that soon. I think that's different if you had a guitar that's like 10 years old and you have sentimental value with it and you wanna fix it, and really it had time and usage, and yeah, it makes sense there that you need to switch things around. But for an instrument that's not even 5 years old, that barely really being played, needs that much attention, to me at least, it's a little mind boggling. So, with all this frustration in my mind and all this bad feeling, of course, the first thing came to my mind, well, let's just search for something else, because it can't fulfill the needs that I have. Like, I love playing acoustic guitar, and I want to have one that's reliable. It's like everybody. Like, if you have acoustic guitars laying around or any instrument that you haven't played, why do you have it? Is it there to be looked at? Is it there because there's an issue with it that you wish that could be fixed, but there are no means for it yet? Like, I want to have stuff that I use for real use case, right? If it's not used for work, it's not making me money, then what's the point of that? So I always look at stuff that I have and I'm like, have I used that? Is it making me money? Is it giving me some form of pleasure in a mental sense? And if it's not doing anything, then it's really pointless to keep. So then I reached out to a friend of mine who told me, oh, the instrument haven't been played and it might need this and that and that. And I'm like pulling my hair, thinking that, okay, now this will need another few $100, and now more frustration and things like that. So what's the point of the story? Let's say you're a musician and these items are your money makers, your songwriting tools. These are your tools. And if your tools are not motivating you, are not there to help you, are not reliable, then those are no longer tools. And I think we have to make strategic moves and really think about how and what we're investing in, because ultimately that's also an investment in our future. So like, if I have an acoustic guitar that's working and is reliable, then it's on me. Really, I have absolutely zero things to say, because I have the tool. But if the tool itself is not operating right, then you have to evaluate if that tool, what you should do with that tool. I said tool so many times. So let me show you what I'm talking about. And I've had this problem for way too long. Let me show you. So yeah, unfortunately I'm having some clarity issues in this area that I wish there was. Now I do understand that having a DAD GET in tuning can change your setup, and it is recommended to have different tunings with different instruments, but that's also Mordella. I can't have Mordella. I don't have Mordella. I want more. I want an instrument that can be used for one or two songs, then tuned back to the regular, because I cannot, not everybody is in a place where they can have guitar one tuning, guitar two and another tuning, another guitar another tuning. That's crazy. But I think it's a very honest thing to ask I think it's a very honest thing to want an instrument that's well set up, that's reliable, and that is clear. So if you have an instrument that's not motivating you, that's just a wall piece, just double check on that. And if you don't need it, get something different, something that speaks to you, something that motivates you, something that you'll play. Because if you don't play it, it's not gonna be worth for you. Anyway, see you in the next video.